Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 7, a brand new stream we're adding to the collection called Beyond the Spoilers. I want to thank you guys for being here last night because we did brainstorm a little bit and we got the spoilers mixed with the bold predictions, and we decided to add something that is going to take the spoilers to a whole new level, right? I mean, everybody wants to get out there. The forums want to jump on spoilers. Then everybody kind of takes the spoilers, and YouTubers just throw a whole bunch of videos out there and see where they fall. But we're going to take it to a whole different level. We're going to take those spoilers and we're going to add kind of the way we can only do it. We're going to get some additional questions tonight. We're going to talk about Alpha, Gamma, Lydia, Aaron, Jules, Luke, Daryl, Carol, a whole lot of different elements. So we're going to break this thing down and have a lot of fun tonight, hopefully. Real quick shout out to the Patreon Army. You can see them up on the screen. Amazing group of people. And we're going to have some prison scenes this week. It's going to be a lot of jail time. Some of the jail time is going to be Carol bringing some jam and some bread and going to jam it down the Whisperer's throat. But then we're going to get a little bit of fighting. Carol's going to put on that wedding ring. They're going to beat him down a little bit. But this scene in particular, I think, with Dante, Sadiq, Whisperer traders, a whole lot of prison stuff is going to go down. So let me touch on one of the, I guess, the broader topics of what we sort of set for episode 8 and the rest of the season. Is everything that's pretty much been done at this point, or would you agree, has all been Alpha in control and Alpha working to maintain her control? And we know that sphere of control is getting tighter. It's getting tougher for her to influence people because now people are seeing, look, in the past they probably just bull rushed some of these communities and just took over and they take what they want. Well, finally, they've seen a couple communities that, well, they're not unhappy. They're not miserable. They're not starving. They finally rolled into a community where there is a way of life. And because there's a way of life, there's some jealousy. And Alpha has to become more bold. The stories have to become bigger. But at this point, the group has not fought back. And the one thing we know about this group, they get pinned in, they fight back. Then something else happens, they get pinned in, Negan, they fight back. Well, Alpha has pinned them in, and so far this season, all that's happened is they've just kind of nodded and accepted it. Right? I mean, it's so out of character for our characters. Michonne telling them, let's just listen to what the lady has to say. Daryl telling Carol, hey, don't go after that deer. That's her territory. No, go after the deer. Get your food. But everybody's scared to do anything at this point. And one thing I know about our group is when they get completely pinned in, someone will take the lead, someone will fight. I'm a little concerned, though, that someone is not Michonne. Michonne is in a bad spot from a actor standpoint, not, with her other endeavors. Certainly she has that right, but I mean, we know she's leaving, so we've got that to fall back on. But she's also literally in a bad spot on The Walking Dead because she's in Oceanside. So all these things that are going on she's not getting the real live time interaction. She's getting it on the radio for, it's, hey, what's going on with Negan? So since Michonne's been gone, I mean, look at all the chaos that's went down. Negan killed somebody. She got it over the radio. What's Daryl going to do? Now Negan's broken out. Now Carol's kind of done her own thing. Michonne can't keep an eye on Carol. And they got a Whisperer captured. And then this week, Sadiq is going to be murdered. Michonne's still at Oceanside. So I don't think, well, you know what? This is beyond the spoilers. Let's not go with the week I don't think. Let's say I know that they just did not send Michonne to Hilltop and then to Oceanside just to call her back to Alexandria. Will Michonne ever see Alexandria again? Think about this for a second. Oceanside's about a day away. Doesn't it seem a little bit bizarre that Michonne would just go to Oceanside and nothing would happen there, and then, hey, all hell's breaking loose at Alexandria, let me go back? I think she's done. I think she's done in Alexandria. Rick ain't coming home, Johnny Metal. That ship has sailed. So the reason that's important is because the speed of which things are going to happen, you're going to have to buckle up. This week is just a taste of it, but in 8 is going to drive you nuts. We got a super chat. We got Vanette Arnold says, oh my God, kills. What if Dante had infiltrated the Highwaymen to join Alexandria? That would explain an easy join. I think it's a fair question. And we briefly touched on this last night because I think trying to figure out the stream that we did it. Amanda Goss, thank you for that. got some super stickers going on, Amanda. So it might have been Monday. I think it was Monday stream when I kind of touched on that topic a little bit and said, because before the spoilers came out, I, like many of you, wanted to know, how did Dante get in with the group? And look, does Dante know Margot? Did Dante know Ozzy? Was he a part of that group and then he helped lure them out? So the only way I can explain that would be that he was serving double duty. He was a highwayman by day and a whisperer by night. I don't think that Alpha just gave him an option out of the blue and then he turned on the highwaymen and lured his people there. Because if he was a highwayman, it'd be a hell of a thing for him to kill Ozzy. He would have to renounce his highwaymanship at that point. So if he was a whisperer that played along with the highwaymen and he was involved in both, then yeah, that could make a lot of sense. We got another super chat. Amy Ferrer says, kills didn't the group bring many others in the storm from the kingdom? So this might be disappointing. And Dustin Bryan even says this, says lots of plot holes. But give me a TV show or give me a movie that you can't find plot holes. Is it possible that sometimes, because there's so much media, look, Walking Dead is one of the few shows that has its own talk show, Talking Dead. And then it has a variety of YouTubers out there. Some of the first, you guys know them, Trev, myself, Ronnie. I mean, if you think about it, 3 years ago, how many people have been watching Walking Dead content on YouTube for more than 3 years? Just a quick show of hands. You don't have to name them, but I want you to think, to yourself. 3 years ago, could you name more than 5 people that were talking about The Walking Dead? Let that sink in for a moment. We got Shannon M. High Kills and Family just ducked in to say, comic readers, all bets are off now. Angela Kang has officially changed what we assume will happen. I love that. I love it. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. Okay, so 3 years ago, you probably couldn't think of more than 5. Now I can tell you, because of the popularity of the show, I can tell you there's probably 500. And I'm not even joking. So, based on the widespread popularity, this is my follow-up question. Is it possible because there's The Walking Dead, there's Comic-Cons, there's Talking Dead, and now there's a whole lot of people that discuss the show. That maybe we're a little too critical. I hate to blame us for anything. Are we a little too critical of plot holes? And we've got this comic guideline as well. And I get it. I mean, some of them are legit. I mean, there's no doubt some of them, like we know, warning everybody, if you haven't realized this is beyond the spoilers, this is going to have spoiler information. But we want to know whether Sadiq was a traitor or whether Sadiq wasn't a traitor. If that would not have been answered, that's a big, big plot hole. That's a big question. So they circle back and they answer that. Now, one of the craziest re-answering of a plot hole, which I didn't think was that big of a deal, was Morales. They forced Morales back into the show, and it was a plot hole they probably could have just let go. But we talk about this ad nauseum sometimes. I mean, hey, what are they eating? Where did they go to the bathroom? Where's the supply of toilet paper? Are they finding toothpaste? Do they make their own toothpaste? We make almost anything into a plot hole. But not everything is a plot hole. Plot hole is kind of like one of those new words that it's a catch-all. I don't understand it. It's a plot hole. They need to go back and explain this to me. This is a plot hole. Ben Stevenson said, many plot holes are explainable things. But there is this, I'll delve into it a little bit. How many people love to read books? Or comics? How many you get to use your own imagination? So it stands to reason when you read a book and I read a book and we have to visualize that character, we visualize that differently. So some of these things that we call plot holes are things that can be left for your own interpretation, and it's okay. But when 500 people are talking about it, some people look through a window and they see RJ. Some people look through a window and they see M. Night Shyamalan plot waiting to happen. But the writers go back and they answer some of these things. So what I want to say is not everything we need to break down to that degree. So this ties me into the bigger picture of Dante, but I don't want you to necessarily get your hopes up and say, they're going to tell us how long Dante was there. Well, Dante's huge to a degree, Anna, and let me tell you why. I personally don't need to know how Dante got there and how long he's been there. Some people do. But I'll tell you what they can do to gloss over that. Shannon M. says, PPP plot hole, wait for the movie. PPP stands for, yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with liking to know, but there can also be some things that advance the narrative. For example, if we don't get an exact amount of why Dante was accepted, but yet we see an open door policy with other people. Jules, for example, somebody I brought up on a previous stream. Where did Jules come from? Can anybody tell me? In fact, if you guys give me a few names of people or that person I saw there that you can't think of how long they've been on the show. Brandon is another example. So Ryan Gordon says, what if Dante first snuck into Hilltop or the Kingdom and made it Alexander from there? Ryan Gordon, that's exactly my point. It's your book. It's open for interpretation. I don't know that we need a universally agreeable Dante has been here for 6 weeks. He's been here for 3 weeks. He should have gotten, the questions from Deanna. He should have gotten, you just don't let this person in. I understand. That makes it makes sense why we would question that. But if there's other people that we haven't seen, Brandon did have family connections though, but we didn't see him. We heard a little bit of that. Trust no one. But what would have happened if the lady on the bus, is it not plausible that they also showed us the Negan scene to show us two people that might have been accepted into Hilltop? They did question Connie's group. No doubt about it. But Amanda, we saw that. And what I would argue is, we can't, if there's these people coming in, we're not going to get a backstory on every person that comes in. Where did Cheryl come from? So, Lisa, I guess my question would be, if we start adding all these people, and there's the assumption that these people are let in, do we need all of that force-fed to us? Maybe with Dante, it's a little bigger story because of what happens. But if Dante would have turned out to be a random doctor, we're probably not going to go back. And case in point, there's many people on the show that not one time has any of you guys said, I wonder where that person came from. We just accept it, and we may get it, we may not. But it might also be enough to know that Dante is a part of the Whispers. Now, for me, a bigger question in the Dante, if you want to call it a plot hole, the bigger question for me is, how did Dante get that level of trust from Alpha to be there with Lydia there, and Lydia does not know who Dante is? You can ask the question how long he's been there, what was the context. I'm a little bit more curious about that, and I don't even know if I'll get an answer to that. Because what that actually does is it sets up a follow-up question of, why didn't Lydia recognize Dante? So if we go back and exactly, but I don't know that they're all plot holes, because I think there's an assumption from the audience that we will be able to use our own devices to make it what it is to us. Hey, Dante might have been on the road somewhere. Dante could have been a doctor. Dante could have been a highwayman. But if you do that specifically with Dante, then you're going to have to give backstories to every single person that you bring on board. And I think the assumption is, based on what Negan was going to do, is these people will probably accept you if you're not wearing a mask and you're not coming in making a whole bunch of threats. Sleeper cells that Alpha's come up with. So, hey, that's a hot topic. And I know we kind of encompass the whole plot hole and the future of The Walking Dead in that. But let's get to some of the real questions that are out there. And I respect the fact that one of the questions, but honestly, I don't think that's a top 10 burning question, is how did Dante get into Alexandria? I think another burning question would be, what the hell's going on with Aaron? Why did Aaron continue to have small talk with Gamma? Is Aaron in cahoots with Negan? Why did Aaron not go back and report the water situation? Taya, I think that's a simple answer, right? Aaron's a fool. Or I would say it goes beyond Aaron's got a master plan. I don't know that Aaron is a fool, but Aaron certainly seems distracted. Yeah, let's make sure that gentleman is no longer in our streams. Thank you, Emmy. It's 2019, and I can't believe we still have people that come into a live streams and make slurs like that. Mind-blowing to me. But the beauty of it is once their comment gets flagged and they get blocked, they never show up again. We never have to worry about that idiot. Unbelievable. So, Aaron has spent more time scoping out what Gamma's doing than going back and reporting it to anyone. But then I guess the question is, who would Aaron report it to? What's going on with the council right now? In fact, let's do this. I'm going to take a few questions. We're going to have 9 burning questions today that we would rather get answers to than the scene that we never saw that got Dante into Alexandria. How about that? Fair enough? I think we can come up with 9. Amanda Goss, maybe he felt there was a mole and didn't want to tip them off. Well, there certainly is. And there's some nice seeds that they're planting that could be inadvertent. For example, it could be complete coincidence that Gamma is poisoning the water and Dante is serving the water. I don't think it is, but it could be. It's a simple switch. Drinkable, undrinkable. But if you talk about that, honestly, to me, that big sign, drinkable, undrinkable, seems like it was a bulletin board to push the audience in a certain mindset. I would consider that beyond obvious. But Alpha has said the border, the tree. Look at these nicks. So we're going to come up with some questions. So throw a couple questions in there. But another great scene that I think might have been added later. How many people here have the burning question, why does Alpha not just release the horde? I mean, I think that's probably question number 1. Beta wants her to do it. Nick, the Whisperer, wanted her to do it. Why does she not release the horde? And there's a great answer to that. Are we seeing Aaron's plan or Alpha's plan play out? Exactly. There's a one-word answer. Because of Lydia. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Pretty famous, as we said. I think we're seeing Alpha's plan play out, but I think Aaron is going to have a few surprises for us. He doesn't want to be the nice guy anymore. Some people could interpret that as he's on a different team. But with everything that happened, I don't think so. So, here's the problem. Alpha killed Nick the whisperer to continue enforcing her own lie. She even says, so Alpha's cut down a tree. She's got Gamma doing some stuff behind the scenes. She's got Dante, all because she can't reveal the fact that Lydia is still alive to anyone except Dante. That's the big issue with me. Why Dante does not feel the same way as everybody else. Because if you're Dante, honestly, let's look at it like this. It's almost like a bad answer to a bad question. Beta says release the horde. Gamma is probably thinking release the horde. Nick, the Whisperer, release the horde. If you're Dante, you have to be thinking the same thing, right? Release the horde. But you and Alpha are the only two people that probably know that Lydia's alive. So from a Dante perspective, I don't get why he is more supportive of all these little subplots when the only reason that she's not doing it is because of Lydia. That's confusing to me. So Angel says, how will Alpha react when she finds out that Negan knows about Lydia? Well, here's the bigger problem, Angel. As of a couple of weeks ago, nobody knew in our minds about Lydia except Alpha. Then Beta found out. Dante, we found out knows. But now you've got Gamma knows, Negan knows. It's going to get harder and harder for her to live this lie. And I do think, and we've probably been on this storyline for a while. Raise your hand if you remember. I mean, we were early on this and we said Lydia would be the single biggest factor in taking down the Whisperers. That when word gets out that Lydia's still alive, Lydia will take down the Whisperers. It's going to start to crumble them. These are some good super chats. Let me jump around to these. We got Bamber Kitty. Dante must have a special deal with Alpha. Great point. I'm going to touch on that in a second. That's going to get me to my next thought, so perfect timing with that. Ryan Gordon, with Lydia running away, it sets up a reason for Negan to kill Alpha, also gives Beta a reason to start the war knowing Lydia's not there anymore. Actually, both of you could not have been better timed with this. It leads perfectly into the next narrative. If Dante does have a deal, like maybe think Dante would be interested in Alexandria? Anybody? How many people think Dante might be interested in running his own community? Maybe Hilltop. Certainly could have some ambition. So I'm fully on board with Dante getting a special deal. Hey, don't care what happens with your daughter. I'm on board. I'll help you run whatever you run. When this is all over, I get my own plot, get my own territory. Just a possibility. Now, with Ryan Gordon's super chat, Lydia runs away, sets up a reason for Negan to kill Alpha. I like that part, but even more so, also gives Beta a reason to start the war knowing Lydia's not there. So now here's what we have. All the chips have been played. Sadiq's dead. Dante will be found out. Lydia has exited Alexandria. It's time to push. It's time for Alpha. Alpha will have one last ditch effort to send a message to the group. And go ahead. Type it up there if you know exactly what that last message is going to be before all hell starts to break loose. Jessica Ward. Alpha poisoned the water. Couldn't Lydia drink it? It's a great point. But we do have that big sign that says drinkable, undrinkable. Now, it's a little careless of Dante to poison the water and leave the handle the wrong way, but certainly he could put the handle back and give the water to whoever he wants to give the water to, whichever sick patients he wants to give it to. Will the Bill says, oh my God, I'm lost. Well, I'm going to tell you, Will, if you're lost with this week's spoiler, the things that are still have to be answered and still have to happen. Let's talk about one of the bigger future stories of the whole season. What's going to push Michonne to leave? Now, we know from the Comic-Con trailer, Michonne was on a boat. We also know we've yet to see Virgil. We also know that Alexandria, even though really Alexandria is positioned next to the Potomac River and is an easy exit to the Atlantic Ocean, on the show, Alexandria does not have close access to the ocean, but it's likely that Michonne's exit will get, I think, ramped up a little bit. But certainly you have to think that something major has to start going down at Oceanside to expedite Michonne's exit. So we've got what's going on with Aaron, water filtration problems. How did Dante get into Alexandria? When will Maggie be introduced? If Eugene will ever tell anybody about the people he talked to? And what is so imperative that Michonne has to go to Oceanside? And it appears that they're pushing her to Oceanside to get her on a boat to get her to leave the show. And we have not even got, Laura, to the Zeke story. Well, here's the problem with Ezekiel, Michonne, and Carol. Carol and Daryl are in Alexandria, and they're interrogating. Ezekiel has cancer and has to have a purpose. Michonne is in Oceanside, so we've split up all the power. It could not be more obvious that they're breaking the leaders up. So take a look at some of the questions in there. Robin Vance and RJ might not go with Michonne. I think RJ goes with Michonne, and I've been saying this for a long, long time. RJ leaves the show. I really feel like RJ's character will come back at some point and carry out part of the legacy of Rick Grimes, and Judith stays behind. Judith is a tremendous boon for the show. The actress is phenomenal. And I think it shows that Judith is going to put her foot down and make a stand. But I see some big things playing out with RJ. Now, where is RJ right now? Who's watching RJ? See, don't you guys think this is kind of a big question? And I don't think it's a plot hole. Regular town babysitter. I love it. Everything now is going to be like hashtag plot hole. We got a whole lot of stuff to get answered. This is why I said don't hold your breath on a Dante backstory, how long he's been there. So, look, we got, is RJ with Gabriel? Is RJ with Barb? Who is RJ? Is Nabila watching RJ? Is RJ in Alexandria? Is he at Hilltop? He's not in Oceanside. So, Michonne leaves. Does something happen with RJ? Does something happen with RJ? And look, we got Aaron. You know what? Let's just come up with a bunch of plot holes. So this week, Aaron shows Gamma a picture that Gracie has drawn. That's a confirmed spoiler. Is anybody here concerned that Gracie might have went to daycare, came back home, and had a glass of water? It's like, everybody that drinks water, I've got a problem with this water now. And Aaron is given bread and pictures to the girl that's contaminating. It's like, here, my daughter who you just poisoned and you killed drew this picture for you, but have a good day. What is Aaron thinking? I mean, that's a burning question for me. I want to know. I want to know, like, who's drinking the water? And why is it more important for Aaron to be on this mission than it is to find out what's going on? Does he not know people are sick? I mean, as far as I know, Aaron's not that far away. Bigger question here. Let's go beyond the spoilers. When Aaron first saw Gamma, he was out there. You guys remember he was out there practicing with the stick, right? Everybody remember he was on the bridge. He was doing his thing. Holler. Holler if you hear me. I got a big one for you guys. So, was Aaron expecting to puncture his hand with the stick? Because the next time he sees Gamma, he's got some bandages on him. Where did he get those bandages? I mean, where in Alexandria do they usually keep the bandages? Infirmary? Popped in the infirmary, didn't see all the sick people? Didn't have a glass of water on his way? After Aaron, okay, let's say he carried the bandages with him. Did Aaron sleep out on the bridge and then go back and see her the next day? Or theoretically, did Aaron go back home to Alexandria, get in his bed, have a good night's sleep, and not know anything that was going on? Didn't get a status report or update? He strictly went back, get a drawing, grab some bread, and go back out. hi, bye, and then he goes. So certainly, I mean, if you want to talk about some big unanswered questions, we've got to get to the whole crux of what is Aaron doing and why does he have tunnel vision of back and forth, back and forth. And look, I say a lot of this in jest, but I'm concerned about Sadiq finding out the water's contaminated and Aaron. No, Ruth, I'm intentionally overanalyzing this because I think it leads to Aaron's state of mind. Because it's not feasible that Aaron is just back and forth, back and forth. So if he's concerned about Gamma, and if he sees, I mean, the writers certainly made us see what she's doing to the water. Not just what she's doing, she did it in Aaron's sight, and that's my concern. If Aaron would not have been witnessing that, and we as viewers just saw what she was doing, then we can put 2 and 2 together and say the water's poisoned. But the fact that he witnessed it, I think, is important to the story, and what is he trying to do? Why is he ignoring this important fact? Anna Twink, Michonne leaves for radiotherapy machine for Zeke. I like it. I don't like her taking care of Ezekiel and potentially not taking RJ or not taking Judith. But I like it, I guess, because I wouldn't have a problem with Ezekiel staying alive. I just don't. I feel like the Ezekiel character needs an epic death. So let's tie this into Ezekiel. How many people here think that Ezekiel is just going to die? He's just going to wither away. No major episode. He's not going to do anything monumental. He's just a goner. Option 1. Option 2. Alpha's going to put him on a pike. Option 3. Ezekiel goes away, gets cured of cancer. Or option 4. Ezekiel is dealing with this guilt of Henry, and he's got to do something that is going to forever enshrine him in Walking Dead lore with all of us, like a big sacrifice, or riding in on one of those horses, or taking out a lot of whispers, realizing that his life, if one of you can take 10 of them, you do something to positively contribute to the cause. And the fact that they saved, look, we've gotten some very interesting clues with Ezekiel. We can certainly funnel down the Ezekiel story. Number 1, Ezekiel was going to kill himself. Fact. Or, well, he said he didn't know what he was going to do. But he was in a position to kill himself. Michonne talked him down. Then we get the few years ago, this would have been curable. We get that. But what do we know about Ezekiel? Ezekiel has never been a snowflake. And Ezekiel's never backed down and shied away from taking a stand. Well, I take that back. When Shiva died, he did hide. While the saviors were taking over the kingdom, Ezekiel did disappear for a little bit. But other than that, he's made that stand. Will the bill? Yep, I think Zeke will go out in a big wow factor. So, the men can answer this, but because Ezekiel is a man, I want to throw this question to the ladies specifically. If you and Ezekiel were in a relationship and your son died and Ezekiel just couldn't open up about anything, did not have the motivation to go out and do something, could that potentially affect how you feel about that relationship? That you should be out doing something. Why are you not doing something? I love that. See, Lisa's like, I would dump his butt immediately. I mean, you would expect that out of the father. So Carol and Carol's role when people are like, why'd she leave Ezekiel? Because Carol is finally doing something about it. Carol is out there looking for alpha. Ezekiel is doing nothing. I love it. Sin Miller, he needs to stop his moping. And why do we harp on this and dwell on this so much? Is because it's the storyline for Ezekiel that I feel like, at least it makes more sense to me. And I know, just a minute ago, I think it was Anna said, I'm sorry, which I might get my super chats mixed up, but said, Michonne will take Ezekiel and heal him. Honestly, I think that's a weak story. Because viewers, and I love this, Lisa says Zeke is boring. It's a letdown. Do you guys really want a cured, moping Ezekiel moving on to something else? I mean, be honest with me for a second here. Is that the story as viewers that you want to see? Oh, Ezekiel hasn't really done anything. He hasn't stood up. He hasn't taken a stand. Well, he's sick. All right, Michonne, you take him off, get him healed, and maybe we'll see him in a movie. By the way, he didn't go out with a bang of thunder and help his kid. Or do you want to see him go out and be a hero? Now, I'm not saying he has to die to be a hero. Dustin Little, I feel like Michonne would only leave to search for Rick. Maybe she finds out he's still alive from the radio woman somehow. All right. Dustin, that brings me to a simultaneous storyline with Ezekiel. I agree with you as well. Because I think there's multiple things that have to happen with the Zeke, Carol, Michonne, Judith narrative. And whether that's the radio or whether that's Maggie. And I do think they're intertwined. So some major clues there. Carol's going to put on her wedding ring this week and she's going to beat down this whisperer. So having that ring on is important, not just to kill with him, but I also, and this wasn't mentioned in the spoiler, but I do feel like it's going to be a healing moment. She's going to realize that having that ring on feels pretty good. And I would not be surprised if Carol is that last little bit of motivation. Ezekiel says he doesn't know how to talk to her. Would you guys agree that a major, well, maybe not a major storyline, but a developing storyline is how many times they've mentioned that Zeke doesn't want to talk to Carol, Carol doesn't want to talk to Zeke, Zeke doesn't want to know what's going on with Carol, Carol doesn't care, Zeke said he doesn't know how to talk to her. We've seen this play out. At least there's been 5 references to it. 5 references at least that I can mention. I don't think we're going to get a 6th reference. I think it's so obvious at this point. One of them has to cross over the line here. One of them has to be the bigger person and say, enough is enough. Get your ass on the horse and go out and do something for our son. If Carol has the plan, she can motivate Ezekiel to stop moping and do something about it. She's just got to ask or demand. Holly Pierce, moping is okay for a while, but time to do something. Exactly, Holly. So see, Holly Pierce just went full Carol mode. Right there with me. Great super chat. Thank you for that. Will the Bill. Every main character shut down and had their moments. Then they come back stronger. He's coming back like John Wick. You know what, though? See, Will, I'm going to say that I agree with you, but we might have a few of our viewers might be slightly hypocritical with that, because then the same argument could be made, well, what about Maggie? Because let's be honest. How many people here have shut the door on Maggie? You're pissed off. You don't want her back. All of the above. Where are the people that don't want Maggie back? I know there's a few. Raise your hands proudly. Which is why the Maggie return has to be, Tiny Rick says boring. It has to be not boring. It has to be epic. It has to be, I'm telling you, Laura Croft, they will make Maggie, they won't make her wishy-washy, and Jesus, what you did with those saviors, that was right. What Negan did, that was wrong. They got to make her guns on both sides, running in, bam, 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 shooting people down. That's what the audience is going to demand, and I think they'll play it well. More to come on that. If you guys don't know what we're doing, we're going beyond the spoilers tonight. We're tying in the bold predictions with the confirmed spoilers to really get to the big questions that you guys want to know. Thank you. You know what? My Maggie is a natural. It's almost like Eugene. You just got to set your mind to it. But as viewers, we don't control the story, but we certainly influence the story. And because Carol's going to put on the ring, and because we've heard reference after reference, like I don't want to talk to her, I don't want to talk to him, nope, it's not the right time, and because we see Ezekiel at a point that is probably becoming terminal, I feel like he's got to do something. Now, we also know, we know, the predictions before that Sadiq was going to save him, that ain't going to happen. So if you voted before that Ezekiel's going to come up with something and Sadiq's going to have a cure, nope, we know that storyline went away. So we can definitely, I guess, assume that Ezekiel's just not going to wither away and die. What a waste of a very polarizing character. I mean, Ezekiel's got some fans, but when I do a stream and I see people saying Ezekiel's getting boring, that concerns me. Because there was a time Ezekiel's one of the most popular characters on the show. Dead on Leprechaun, super chatting it. Thank you so much. And I've seen a couple people pop in that I didn't recognize, and a few new people said, I like the chat. If you guys like what we do me a favor. Hit that like button. Show everybody that watches the playback. Keep in mind, I do want to point this out. Sorry, I'm going to take literally, if I can take 10 seconds. A new viewer watched one of the live streams and said, I absolutely love the 999 Army. And there are only about 20 comments at the bottom of this video. That is very, very misleading. No, and I'm not saying he was misleading. The comments are all in the video. So in any given video, we get somewhere between 8 to 10,000 comments. So if you watch one of our playbacks and you look at the bottom of it and there's only 20 people that have commented, it's because most people are watching it live. Now, if you guys want to go back and watch the playback and leave comments down below, absolutely, that is appreciated. But the comments in the video are all real-time comments. If we were doing a 5-minute video, most of the comments you see right here would be at the end of the video and would be included. So just want to throw that out there. Also, one more thing that I want to tell you guys, and then we'll get back to beyond the spoilers because I got a few more topics. Tomorrow night, we will be doing Freestyle Friday, 8 o'clock. We've been doing double streams all week long. Tomorrow night will be only one stream. 8 o'clock, we'll have a Walking Dead topic. It will not include spoilers. So please do not bring up spoilers because we're going to have people that want to come in, they want to participate, they want to play the game. They don't want to know what happens with Sadiq. They don't want to know what the deal is with Dante. It's going to be a very casual setting. It's a lot of fun. And then we will transition tomorrow from freestyling to Play Dead Live, which is going to be our live action role-playing game. If you guys have not seen that, it gets a chance for you to play your character, get involved in the narrative. There you see it. You can see our green team, throw in the logo up there. But I think you'll enjoy it. So hang out with us. Some of our streams on Friday night we've had streams, I think, as long as 3 hours. So it's a lot of interaction. Time flies. We're doing that. And then Saturday morning, we're going to do an extended spoiler for people that will watch the episode. We do kind of 3 versions. We do the spoiler before anybody sees it. Then when people watch AMC Premiere late tomorrow night or Saturday morning, we do a Saturday morning spoiler to catch those people up. And then we do a reaction video. And Will the Bill's going like full super chat beast mode. Like, thank you so much, first of all, for that super chat, Will the Bill. Amazing dude there. He's a PDL sponsor. Will the Bill is one of the possibly heroes. We don't know Will's full intention as of yet, but you will see Will the Bill in some of our PDL streams. He's got a very good backstory. You guys, I know you guys don't like plot holes, so I think last week when we did PDL, we solved some of our own plot holes, and you got to see the history of Will the Bill and how his character developed. So a lot of fun with that. And Will also has some very, very creative changes in our PDL. So we'll start doing a module, we'll start doing a scenario, and then sometimes somebody will change the narrative, and that's what the viewers and the participants can be involved in. So thank you so much, Will. Appreciate that, and certainly for everything that you do for this channel and have done for this channel for a long time. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in January, February. I will be visiting Atlanta, and Will the Bill and myself will be having a dinner at Nick and Norman's. So more on that in the near future after we get through the holidays. So good stuff coming around the corner with that. All right, so a couple more bullet points that I want to touch on. And look, I know we got a little silly tonight, and the code word tonight is which stories. But I do hope you guys understand that the bigger, to cast that net out there is we can talk about some of the things that aren't answered to get to the things that we do need answered and kind of in priority. So, final goodbyes. A week ago, before we knew that Sadiq was going to be murdered by Dante, it felt as if Rosita and Eugene might not interact again. So now I think the balance, many of you said, hey, it's the last time they were going to see each other. Now that Sadiq is a goner, how many people think that there could be a potential Rosita-Eugene reunion where Eugene becomes more involved in Coco's life than ever? See how this changed like at the drop of a hat? Certainly does open up the possibility. Certainly Father G is still in the picture. But look, we had this love rhombus with the 4 of them. Let's go beyond the spoilers and ask this question. Father G, Eugene, and Rosita are the only 3 left. Which one dies next? Leave your comments in chat right now. Or will none of them die? Is 3 good? Or do you think one of those 3 is definitely going to die next? I love that there's a battle right now going on between Rosita and Father G. Some people are pretty definitive. Rosita dies next. Father, not the father. We're like split on this. Tiny Rick says to make an impact's got to be Rosita. So, Rosita dies. Father G and Eugene split custody for Coco. So I certainly think both will die. And I think Eugene will take care of Coco. I think Father G and Rosita, I don't know how they're going to die. I don't know what twisted story could get to that. But I feel like both of them are going to go this season. And I don't want to see Seth Gilliam die because he was one of the first actors on The Walking Dead to ever give the 999 Army a public shout out. Seth and Ross Marquand, amazing. I'm a little mad at Aaron right now. I need some explanations of what's going on with the two of them. But it is time to spice it up. And Father G hasn't gotten a lot. I mean, Father G should not be Father G at this point. He should be like the jail keeper. He spends more time watching over the jail cell than he does doing Sunday service. So that brought me to the question of final goodbyes. So we thought Eugene and Rosita could have a final goodbye. That might be changed at this point. We think that Carol and Daryl, I'm sorry, whoa, let me back that up, not Carol and Daryl. Carol and Ezekiel. Will Ezekiel, here's a little bit of future spoiler information that I guess kind of concerned me. Is this group that supposedly goes out when there was the rumor Kelly was going to die. And now it's a rumor Connie's going to die. But in that group, those of you probably know the spoiler I'm talking about, Ezekiel was not mentioned in that group. I think it was Daryl, Carol, Kelly, Connie, Jerry. For some weird reason, Carol was there and Jerry was there, but Ezekiel was not there. That's got to be a big, big red flag that Ezekiel has went on his own and done something. And I guess there's a part of me that would like to think that Carol and Ezekiel could kind of formulate a plan together, and instead of it being Carol and Daryl, I guess the romanticist would like to see, hey, let them get together for one last hoorah. But I would think that Jerry would be there because Ezekiel cannot be there. So, beyond the spoilers, my bold prediction to that would be Ezekiel in the very near future is going to make a bold, bold move. And it is going to cause Carol and Jerry to really go out there and kind of ramp up the revenge factor. So Roxanne Dunlap thinks Jerry gets piked. I'm going to give Jerry a thumbs down, and I'm going to say the bearded person on the pike is Luke. The more I've thought about this, I think Jerry is a mainstay. I think Ezekiel is not a pike. And I think the Whisper narrative has to cross over into Oceanside. Look, we've seen what they're doing with Alexandria. We saw the tree in Hilltop. We know there's a mask out at Oceanside. So, whose mask was at Oceanside? I'm going to give a kills coin because you guys know my bold prediction. Who did that mask belong to? I'm going to give two. I'm going to give one to Robin Vance and one to Lisa Bernthal. I think that mask belongs to Jules. I don't think it was via Dante. If we've already got Dante in Alexandria, is there anybody here that doesn't think that Alpha is going to make her next move and it's going to be Oceanside? And I think this is also going to show us the scope of what Alpha has planned. I think that's a big story that needs to be told, is the whispers at this point look like it, and let me know, yes or no, if you agree with this. The whispers look like a small group with a lot of walkers. And I think because of the way they have to tell the story and the interactions that we've seen. So how many people feel like the whispers might be a big group with a lot of walkers? So will the bill? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say there is a whisper informant in every single group. And I think that's a shocking revelation for a lot of people. Even the people that don't watch the spoilers and don't participate in our streams, there are viewers, believe it or not, that just watch the show. They turn it on, they turn it off, no social media contact, nothing else. And I think for the average viewer, they're going to be surprised when they see Dante, but I don't know that they're going to take it a step further and think about the psychology of Alpha and say that Alpha has not only put spies in each of these communities, I think Alpha has gone beyond Oceanside, Hilltop, and Alexandria. Now, in my mind, that makes sense because I'm reading it like a book. Some of you may look at it and say, nope, she's only sticking this area. Alpha could be hardcore. Alpha could be down in Richmond. Alpha could be in Knoxville, Tennessee. Alpha could be in Charlotte. Alpha could be in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. She could have these little groups that she set up all the way around. I mean, who's to think that what she has there is all she has? They're always watching. E. Beach, good evening, Army. Sorry I'm late, right? There's one rule between our people. One law. We're always watching. You must be punished. I got to do it. It's like my favorite thing. It's like my favorite Alpha thing. You know what? If you guys think Samantha Morton is absolutely incredible, that she's done an amazing job, then leave it in here right now. Because believe it or not, we do get visitors that watch our streams and absolutely read your comments. So that's another reason why we try to keep it pretty straightforward and professional for the most part. Because we know that people like Seth, people like Ross, when they watch, they give us shout-outs from time to time. Corey Hawkins. I mean, we get people that watch and pay attention to our streams, and you guys are a big part of that. So Samantha Morton is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. She is killing it. I don't think they could have cast a better person. I agree. Bennett Arnold says, Alpha's a character I love to hate. When you get those characters that can just, and the decapitation this week of DJ. I don't know how much they're going to show of it, but I certainly think that you're going to get a feeling of hatred toward Dante, but you're also going to realize that these flashbacks, that Alpha was the mastermind behind this. Alpha has the machete. Alpha is the one directing them, making Sadiq watch. Dante is carrying out Alpha's plan. So however you feel about Dante, you certainly have to up that to a whole different level to hate Alpha even more. Exactly, Darlene. You just want to smack that smirk off of her. And when you get characters that you're that passionate about, we're not done. And the rapid fire of what happens over the next couple weeks is just going to be incredible to watch. We got to get the Oceanside spy. We've got to get that story. And that's why I think, look, we got the mask. We got Jules, who's a new character. We got Luke, who is in love and wants to go see Jules. And think about this. How obvious, and I'll give a kills coin, what ironic comment did Luke make about Jules that could have been a hidden Easter egg that says she's a whisperer? I'm going to give a kills coin to the first person that can successfully answer what Luke said about Jules. Melissa Conrad, first person. He referenced her face, the one with the face. So you got a whisperer mask, you got a new character, he mentions the face, we've got somebody on a pike that looks an awful lot like Luke's got the beard, and we have yet to see the third community actually have some drama. So with that, everybody, we're going to leave it. I think that's beyond the spoilers. My name is Kills. You are the 999 Army. What an amazing group of people. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Special shout out to the Patriot Army in the top left-hand corner. Patriot Army surveys, polls, behind the scenes, stuff that we do. Each of those are my partners, an amazing group of people. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron, there's a link down below. A higher tier patron supporter is the PDL sponsors. You guys hear me talking about Play Dead Live all the time. That group of people brings the show to you on Friday night. So when we switch the Freestyle Friday over to Play Dead Live, and in January, Play Dead Live is going to have its own dedicated stream. It's going to be more advanced. So tomorrow night, you're going to see a higher level of gameplay. Tune in at that starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I got another super chat. We got Will the Bill. I've got a crazy, stupid thought. If Alpha is captured like Negan, and then there's a time jump, could we learn to love her? Will, I will say Alpha is as irredeemable as the governor was in the comic book. She is that despicable to a whole different level. The decapitations, the killing Henry, the making people watch, and we said this at the end of last season. We said this season, with the flashbacks, that they would paint Alpha beyond a gray area to a point of no return. And I certainly think she has become the most hated villain in the history of the show. And I'm going to use a quote from one of our streams. And I stated, they have the opportunity to do something with Alpha to make her the worst ever, and they haven't done it yet. That needs to happen in Season 10. And we knew it was going to happen, so maybe my quote is stating the obvious, but I've enjoyed watching the level of evil and the barbaric nature and now the justification of the evil that we find out. Not only is she barbaric, she's a fraud, because she is selling people on a killing, animalistic lifestyle and don't love anything, and she still loves her daughter. So think about some of the greatest dictators in the history of the world. You don't have to list them here, but you know who they are, and how their message was a warped message to get people to follow them, and they didn't even follow their own advice. That's Alpha at this point. She doesn't even believe in her own calls. She's a fake. So, but absolutely appreciate that. And with that super chat, I am also going to say super special shout out to the Green Team. The Green Team are members of the YouTube channel, strictly on YouTube. You get a custom badge, you get custom emojis. You guys are interested, there's a join button down below as well. Neat thing about the badges is if you scroll over anybody's name in green, you can see how long they've been a member. We got people who've been members here for almost 2 years. So extremely fun, loyal group of people. We've been around for a long time. Also, our moderators, you guys see the moderators in blue. Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells. One of the amazing things on our channel is the dedication of our moderators. Incredible group of people. Green Team, if you guys could, there you go. Amy Ferrero showing the emojis. That differentiates us from a lot of other channels. They are professional, they are dedicated, we have a good time, and they keep everybody kind of in line. So thank you to them. And biggest shout out I want to do is for each and every one of you. I did this in an earlier stream, but if you guys are brand new, you've only been a part of a couple streams, if you guys can do me a favor, just type a quick 999, because we really want to show some appreciation for all the new people that are showing up and make you guys feel as comfortable as quick as possible. Our streams are successful because the amount of chat and the amount of things that you guys do in these streams. If everybody's here and nobody's talking, then it's going to be a pretty boring stream. We're going to become the Ezekiel. You guys said Ezekiel would become boring. We don't want to do that, right? We want to keep the life of the party, and want to thank each and every one of you. So if you're new and you type 999, then accept my very sincere welcome, and hopefully you guys will be back and hang out with us every night. Thank you. I'll see you guys all at 8 o'clock tomorrow for Freestyle Friday. Remember, no spoilers tomorrow. Keep it fun, keep it light, but no Sadiq, no Dante, no crazy stuff. I'll see you all tomorrow night at 8. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.